Bringing sports, entertainment, and technology podcasts together. This is SPNT.
Red vs. Red is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. Download the Stitcher Smart Radio app today at stitcher.com/SPNT. What's happening, everybody? It's Red vs. Red, episode 19 here on the SPNT Podcast Network. Glad you could join us. I'm Nick Suberling. A lot to get to this week. Manchester United winners over Sunderland 3-1, and of course the Aston Villa, what do you want to call them? The villains. They're no longer in the bottom three, and they're going to probably compete for that. Oh, I'm sorry, they're not going to go for Champions League, but I just have to really rub it into Mike, who is a Liverpool fan, and I think he's going to have a lot to say this week.
Yeah, you know, you hit the nail on the head. So I wish I could hit a few nails on a few players' heads, which I'll get into later. Yeah, it's just I just want to start the week off by saying boo to to football in general. It's a stupid game.
I'm sorry. It's really not that funny because, yeah, I'm sorry. Here, Red vs. Red, each and every week we devote half the show to Manchester United, half the show to Liverpool, and we flip a coin each and every week. Mike flipped the coin this week. I called tails, and I was wrong, but Mike has elected for me to go first so that we can spend the first 15 minutes talking about Manchester United. Well, the Reds, as I like to call them, the Red Devils, winners 3-1 over Sunderland. It really was not a contest first. In fact, the game was over in the first half. It seemed the only one who didn't score a spectacular goal was Wayne Rooney. He kind of lucked into one there on the third goal for United. Van Persie capitalized early on a John O'Shea mishandle there in the box, former Manchester United player, making his first appearance at Old Trafford since leaving the club for Sunderland. A very poor display of defense there in the box, and Robin Van Persie capitalizes beautifully. The second goal was just an absolute brilliant, beautiful finish by Tom Cleverley. It was a nice through ball from Michael Carrick. Another display of how well that Cleverley and Carrick have been working so well over the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think they've really done a fantastic job in the midfield. When you consider where they were to start the year, a lot of people were thinking that Paul Scholes was going to be the main focus, but really I would say that Carrick and Cleverley have managed just fine there in the midfield. Cleverley with a beautiful finish around Mignolet into the far post. It really was they showed a lot of skill on that play. And so United, again, not a whole lot to say other than the fact that they gave up kind of a weak goal late in the game. But you know what? You'll take 3 points, especially when you consider City were winners over the weekend at St. James's Park against Newcastle, a tough place to win. So with them keeping pace, United still 6 points clear. It was, like I said, you kind of wish there were a couple opportunities for Wayne Rooney in the first half. He missed a header that probably he should have scored on. He missed a really nice volley that was about a foot wide of the post. He thought he was going to finish that with a spectacular goal. It didn't happen. He did get a goal. It was kind of a cheap week. I don't even know if you want to call it a toe poke or what. But, again, a goal is a goal. United win 3-1. They're 6 points clear heading into their weekend fixture, going to Wales to take on the Swans, Mike.
Yeah, well done, United winning. What a fantastic week for you. Let's all celebrate and give thanks for someone, for United getting it done. Actually showing the rest of the Premier League and my bunch, my bunch how it's done. Got to say, I admire the little Britishisms you have in there as well, like toe poke, getting. And also your pronunciation of Millionaire, the Belgian keeper.
It's just a lot of watching football. What can I say?
Exactly. Yeah, 75,000 packed into Old Trafford, which is pretty good considering this time of year. But yeah, United just easy. I think Sunderland yet again were beaten before they even even got on the pitch. They have been awful, Sunderland, this year, and really, when United go 2-0 up, Sunderland have to withdraw Stephen Fletcher in 46th minute and put up front 19-year-old Connor Wickham. You knew it was going to be a bad day for the Black Cats. Great news for United with Vidic coming back on in the 68th minute. Well, the game was dead and won by then. So yeah, Vidic gets a good 20-minute workout. He's looking good, isn't he? He's looking and also looking good for the remainder of the season. Just to coincide with the draw for the Champions League. In fact, all the other European competitions this coming Friday. With United's win, they've guaranteed that they're going to be top over the Christmas period. So already they've given themselves that cushion over Manchester City and Chelsea and Everton, who are still clinging on to the top four. They've got a goal difference better than Man City, and I think, as we went on last week, I think it's United's league for losing now. I honestly can't see anyone else even if like Chelsea signed Falcao, I just can't see anyone else taking United apart. They've got so much talent, they've got so much depth. I mean, considering that they hardly had any sort of defence at the beginning of the season.
Right.
And they've got all their defenders back now, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Ferdinand Vidic. This team is only going to get better and better. And De Gea seems to have, finally seemed to have claimed that the number one spot. Just think United can bring on Scholes and Giggs for all that experience, all those fresh legs, and it comes. And also Rooney and RVP are playing together really, really well. It's just so annoying with having RVP, because Rooney now, I know he's scoring goals, but he's becoming so much more of a provider, and he's just like destroying my my pre-season prediction of Rooney being the top scorer in the Premier League. But yeah, it's a great result, and considering they're going away to a very good Swansea team, but I think that United will quite easily take apart Swansea at the Liberty Stadium. I know Swansea play some fantastic football, but I think this United team is put together. It's got so much balance. It has so much experience. It's got so much strength and depth. I think they'll easily put about 2 or 3 past them. The one thing I've noticed, agree with me, disagree with me, Antonio Valencia finally being played at right wing.
And what do you mean finally? He's been doing that.
But he was playing at right back at the beginning of the season, and I know that you didn't have you had got a lot of injuries, you were down to the bare bones, but since he's been pushed up to right wing into his correct position, he's been carving teams up for fun. He really has been. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I have seen him play better in the United jersey before, Mike. I've honestly thought over the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's kind of struggled. Like, especially in the City game, I thought he could have done much better. It seemed like he was giving the ball away a lot. I don't know. I just think he did start the year. You're right. He did start the year playing right back for United because of the injuries there. They didn't have Raphael. They didn't have Jones. They didn't have Smalling. Vidic was still iffy. So, and Rio at some point, I'm sure, was also iffy. But you're right. Once he gets going and he starts carving up teams and is making runs down the right side and is able to put his awesome crosses into the box, then that's where United's probably at their most dangerous. And then you couple that with the other side, you've got a guy that we talked about here. We thought he was finished, in Ashley Young. He's been playing fantastic for United over the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I've really been pleased with the way he's come on of late. Again, it's another one of those guys it seems like he's consistently injured. So for him to come back and play the way he has, we have not seen. I could not tell you the last time I saw Nani make an appearance for United. It's been a really long time. If I had to guess, he'll probably be moving here in the January window. There's also some rumors about where United are looking. I have not heard much about Raheem Sterling. Don't know if I will. That probably won't happen. There's been rumors about Walcott. There's been rumors for years about Wesley Sneijder coming over from Inter. Don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to stand pat. I mean, I don't necessarily think they need to do anything to improve their club. I mean, they're 6 points clear here, coming up on the Christmas break here, and I don't know. I don't think there's the only thing I would be concerned about is defense, and if you can shore up the defense through the transfer window, maybe. But I don't even know if that's going to be doable, Mike.
The transfer window for United is somewhat of it's always a hot topic of the year. I mean, traditionally speaking, they don't tend to make any moves unless it's absolutely vitally necessary or that player is available. I personally can't see it because the Champions League, because you've got the added complication of bringing in the great players can't play in the Champions League. And I think Sir Alex likes to have this squad settled. And just going back to your point about Ashley Young, it's the same every season for United. When one player has a bit of bad form, another one steps up. You know, and Nani, he's been bloody he's been god awful. Oh, my spotlight's gone. Nani's been god awful this season. And as you can see, Ashley Young's come up and stepped into the breach on the left side of midfield. When you said Nani's going to come over here, you didn't mean to the States, did you?
What do you mean?
You said you think someone's going to come. Do you think Nani's going to leave United in the January transfer window?
Yeah, I think he's going to be shipped off somewhere. It won't be the States, but he'll probably play somewhere in another league somewhere.
I don't know who'd take him. I'm not sure you could take his wages. I mean, he's played in Europe this season. I think someone maybe on loan might be better for him. You know, you can maybe send him back to Portugal. You know, I mean, someone like is Sporting Lisbon or something like that. They're out of Europe. Someone like
go loan him to QPR. See if they can get him out of relegation.
Oh God, is that where we send all United players to die? Is West London?
Fabio's there.
Oh yeah, Fabio. Yeah, they could. They both speak Portuguese. So
Ji-Sung Park also there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. You know, getting that. Yeah, that is true. Former United, they were managed by Mark Hughes. He must have left some sort of Sparky must have left some sort of mark on QPR.
Well, let's look ahead to the Swans game this coming Sunday. This is a tough fixture. I mean, these guys, United have not faced them yet this year, so this will be the first time they've had a chance to see Michu up close and personal. One of the top goal scorers in the Premier League so far this year. I really like what Michael Laudrup has done with the Swans, considering where they were a year ago with Brendan Rodgers. To continue that growth in the Premier League, I fully expect them to keep building on the success they've had here these last two seasons. They're really fun to watch, believe it or not. I know it's a lot of one-touch passing and a lot of possession, very Barcelona-esque, but that has changed a little bit this year with the new coaching regime. It's still a lot of possession ball, but they sure do have a lot of flair.
They do have a lot of flair, but what I like about this Swansea team is they came up with largely the same team. They kept faith, and they've added to the team rather than lose. I mean, they lost Joe Allen, which is probably their only actual loss of the season.
You think he's regretting that move?
Well, in terms of his salary, probably not. But in terms of actually, as a career of footballer and actually winning things, maybe so. But just going back to my point, they lost Joe Allen, but who did they bring in? They brought in De Guzman, and they didn't lose any guy. They didn't lose Danny Graham. They didn't lose Dyer. They didn't lose who's the other one? Dyer, Graham, who's the left winger? And Routledge and Wayne Routledge. I know they lost Scott Sinclair, but Scott Sinclair didn't actually. Although he scored a few goals, he wasn't actually consistently in the team when he was at Swansea. Now he's at Man City. But what they did was they added another. They added that Miguel Michu, who when he was at for a bargain fee of £4 million, he was the top midfield goal scorer from midfield in La Liga last season. then that includes like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, so to speak. He plays in that what they call a false nine position, where they don't play with a centre forward, but he runs from the midfield, gets on the end of the crosses, gets on the end of chances, finds himself within the penalty area. But they added to the team, and they actually improved it, and that's what I kind of admire about them. The fact that they've not left their principles. I mean, it's a difficult second season in the Premier League. You know, they've got a great stadium down there. A lot of teams hate going down there and trying to get a result from Swansea. I mean, but if you look at the table though, they're only 10th. United, they've got 23 points. United have got 42. United are nearly 20 points better off than them. And I know people going about.
That's amazing to think about, considering the start they got. Swansea, they were flying to begin the year.
But they have lost key games at home, like they lost to Everton at home, they lost to Norwich at home. The away record isn't the best away from home either. What they tend to do is they tend to have these odd results where they play some blinding football, and then they'll be inconsistent and they'll lose to a team which is probably physically fitter and also has greater depth. And that's the only one of the problems with Swansea, is the depth of the team isn't the greatest. And also, they've not had... I think Brom's been injured, the keeper they had last season. He's been injured. And I wouldn't say the defenders are necessarily the greatest in terms of movement. They're very big. They've got two great centre-halves. Ashley Williams at the back's been getting rave reviews. But in terms of the movement of Rooney and Van Persie, I don't think he's going to stand the chance this weekend. I really don't. I think United's finishing far superior. They'll be far fitter. I mean, if things are going wrong for United, 1-0 down, just bring on Paul Scholes, just bring on Giggs, and I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to United.
3-1 sounds about right. They're going to give up a goal because that has been their
that's what they do.
Operandi, and hey, as long as you outscore the opponent, that is all that matters. It's halftime here on Red versus Red. We're glad you could join us. I'm Nick Superling alongside Mike Smith, all the way over in the UK. We record this show live each and every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That's 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Haven't said that in a really long time. If you want to email us, the email is redversusred@spnt.tv. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can also give us a follow on Twitter at @SPNT_Red versus Red. Don't forget, you can rate and review the show on iTunes. We'd love to hear your feedback, whether it's good or bad. Just do a keyword search, Red versus Red, in the iTunes store. We'd love the chance to hear what you guys think of the show. Like I said, we do this each and every week. We love to hear from you. And speaking of doing this each and every week, let's do some shout-outs.
Shout-outs!
Who you got this week, Mike?
Yeah, we've got a new follower on Twitter. Dave Higgins has decided to follow the podcast. I don't generally know that much about Dave itself, but, hey, we welcome all followers to the podcast. Have you got any shout-outs?
I'll do one. This week at soccer, that's what we call it here, Mike.
That's right. I'm not a snob when it comes to calling it football or soccer. I embrace both. I embrace both terms.
All right. My friend who runs our league, Rich Parrish, he got in an argument with me of whether Barcelona won the World Club Championship or what do they call it? FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah.
A year ago, and I just was kind enough to point him out that he was wrong. Yes, Barcelona did win it a year ago. Chelsea, they lose this year to Corinthians. So yes, pretty cool.
Corinthians. That's what they say in Portuguese, which means go Corinthians.
My shout outs to Rich Parrish. If you want to be shouted out here on Red versus Red, hit us up on Twitter at SPNT_Red versus Red, or of course you can always email us at redversusred@spnt.tv. And hey, if you're a soccer fan like I am, and you're looking to get some of that soccer fill, and you want to look at or hear more about American soccer, check out our All American Soccer podcast at spnt.tv. Those guys do a great job breaking down the MLS and all the American players playing abroad. So check them out as well. spnt.tv/American Soccer. I think that's going to wrap up halftime. Mike, why don't you get a head start here, because I know that you're thrilled about your Liverpool squad and their result over the weekend against Aston Villa.
I totally deny I'm totally thrilled about that result. Yeah. So, Reds fans, pretty mournful at this end of the microphone. It's finished Liverpool 1, Villa 3. I don't really want to have to dwell upon the game, but I'm somewhat obliged to do so. So, we take great pride at Red versus Red in reviewing the action, but this game was so bad. The performance was so spineless. The performance was so gutless that actually this review of the game is actually better than watching it. So here we go.
I'm sorry.
The Reds. Right.
I love your analysis so far, and it's you haven't even gotten into it.
Do you have a tumbleweed sound there or something like that? I think it's what we. Yeah, so we dominated the first 20 minutes, and that was about as good as it got. Because quite frankly, then we went down like a souffle. First goal, Benteke. You actually credit to him, credit to Villa. He actually played really, really well. Beats Reina at the near post with a shot from about 18 yards out. Reina should have saved it. As a goalkeeper, getting beaten in the near post is unforgivable. For the second goal, straight after, pretty soon afterwards, Benteke again looks like he's running down a channel into nowhere, but he backheels to an unmarked Alex Weissman. The defence just parted like the Red Sea, and he was just easy for Weiss, who puts the second underneath Pepe Reina. But in fact, if Pepe Reina had actually just stood up there and did nothing, he would have saved it. So quite how that happens is just, it's a mystery. And the final goal, the defence not only parts like the Red Sea, I just can't bring. It was just like Skirtle just let him walk. Just after you, sir. After you, sir. Benteke just waltzes through the defence for the third, and as Reina refused to come out and meet him and try and close him down and do anything about it. Yeah, Liverpool got a goal, 87, someone called Steven Gerrard. Yes, Steven Gerrard, yes. Remember him? Yes, Captain Fantastic. Well, he's not so fantastic anymore, ladies and gents. I could honestly say, hold my hand up, this is what I want to happen at Liverpool. Reina has got to be dropped. I'm sorry, but he's been awful the past season and this season. The recent good run was not down to Reina. It was down to Aussie keeper Brad Jones. I don't think it's any coincidence that Brad Jones has also just signed a new contract at Liverpool in the last couple of weeks. He deserves his chance. He's made one mistake in all the time I know at Liverpool, and he was dropped. Pepe Reina is repeatedly allowed to make silly mistakes, which no goalkeeper at this level should be making. He needs to be dropped. The defence has got no faith in Pepe Reina. He hasn't got any faith in himself. Brad Jones deserves his chance, and I believe he deserves a chance right through to the end of the season. And I think we then need reviewing about Pepe Reina. Then there's rumours abound that Reina might be off to Arsenal, and to be honest, if Arsenal put in a decent bid, I'd be quite happy to accept it at this moment. I'd rather that he became someone else's problem rather than Liverpool's at the moment. So capping off this so-called performance, finally my review, spineless, gutless, and it was like after 20 minutes, after we dominated, Villa just realised that, we're awful. We're absolutely awful. And they just took their A game. There's no fear. There's no intimidation by Liverpool whatsoever. The defence has completely lost its mojo. It just invites long-range shots. I mean, even the young boys game, they scored both their goals from, say, 20 yards out. We're just allowing the players to go, take a shot, take a pop. And we're not realising we've got a keeper who's got, butterfingers behind us. He's got like hands which have been rinsed in oil, and he can't save a long-range shot at the moment. Pepe Reina, everything seems to be popping in. Our midfield doesn't contribute with anywhere near enough goals. I mean, this is coming. The amount of money we've invested in the midfield. We're playing John Joe Shelby in this false nine role, yet no one seems to, support him I mean, he's only 21 years old. He hasn't perfected that role yet. He's taken Michu, till the age of like 28, 29 in order to do so. The midfield, the tactics that Rodgers puts out, it's very nice. It's very nice tiki-taka football, but it doesn't allow for any fluidity whatsoever. There's no defense. The midfielders supporting the attackers. The midfielders aren't supporting the defence. It's not working in the Premier League. You watch that United team. They're up and down, up and down, up and down all game long. Supporting, attacking, supporting, defending, attacking. We just stand still. And it's the same with the movement of the forwards. There's no movement whatsoever. We rely far too much on Luis Suarez. Gerrard doesn't get into the box anymore. He's been played out of position, which is goddamn awful now. He needs to be dropped. I'm sick and tired of having this. I mean, Gerrard has his aura about of bloody intimidation and bullying around the rest of the squad. He needs to be dropped. It's a team game. He needs to be dropped for the sake of the team. And someone like Daniel Agger needs to be made captain. Or even, I'd have a bloody Luis Suarez as captain. I tell you, I'd have him as captain. Someone to lead the line, because I just don't think Gerrard's heart's in it anymore. I think he doesn't get anywhere near enough goals now. I mean, the only good performance I saw from Gerrard was against United, and I think a lot of that was to do with the emotional run-up. He doesn't get worked up for games anymore, and we can't be having that at the Reds. I mean, he kisses the badge, but that's very well and good, Stephen. We've got to put the performances in. Stuart Downing's been told he can leave Anfield. Good. I've never seen,
I'm sorry.
He wouldn't even make the MLS, Nick. He's so bad at the moment.
Come on now. That's not fair.
Oh, I don't know. He's good. Go.
I'm sure the Columbus Crew would take Stuart Downing in a heartbeat.
Oh, God. He's awful. He's a goner. He's going. Henderson seems to be coming back to life, but against the Villa game, there's no one there seizing the chances. I mean, he could arguably say that maybe Suarez coming back in the team upset the balance of the team, considering we had considering he wasn't playing against West Ham, we managed to win a game, but. That's no excuse. We should be beating this Villa team. This Villa team are awful. This is possibly one of the worst Villa teams I've seen in years. I mean, Benteke is a great player. I think he's fantastic. He's keeping Darren Bent out of the team. I think he's probably going to be around there for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then he gets his big move to somewhere like United or Chelsea who can afford him. In Liverpool also tonight, I mean, there's a bit of news coming out of us. We're getting Sturridge and Ince, and they're coming in. Daniel Sturridge from Chelsea. Tom Ince from Blackpool. Tom Ince used to play for Liverpool until about 18 months ago when Roy Hodgson let him go for Blackpool for nothing. Tom Ince, by the way, is Paul Ince's son. Paul Ince happens to be his agent as well. Tom Ince was off the field causing a load of grief. Why are Liverpool again signing unproven British players for far too much money when we can go out like Swansea on the continent, £4 million for Michu, low risk, high reward signing? That's the Premier League's about nowadays. United's fork out 30 odd million Wayne Rooney because Wayne Rooney is good. They don't fork that out for anybody else. What is going on with with FSG running the club? Why are we sanctioning these signings again? I mean, didn't we learn anything from the Henderson, Downing, and Carroll signings? The only bit of good news seems to be Raheem Sterling's going to sign a new contract, but even I think he's got his limitations. He doesn't run at defenders. He hasn't got the pace to beat defenders. I mean, personally, I think maybe he signs a contract. We get a stupid offer for him. Maybe let him go. Let him go. Take the money. We can invest in other areas of the team which dearly need investing. Fulham are coming to Anfield on Saturday at 5:30. Again, it's on Saturday. Well, it's on ESPN. So coverage will be awful. It'll be watched by thousands around the world. Berbatov comes to Anfield. He usually tears us apart. I don't expect anything from this game. I think Fulham could do us. They beat us last season at Anfield. You've got a fairly decent record at Anfield. I think they could do us about 2-0. This team has not got any fight in it whatsoever. And as much as I've criticised Brendan Rodgers, I actually feel sorry for him. He's taken over a club and a group of players who are spineless and gutless and don't know what it means to wear the shirt and take pride in wearing it for the city. I just think someone like United, they rule Ferguson rules with fear. He rules with fear. If you lose your spot, that is it. You know, the only way's down, my friends. At Liverpool, I'm terrified we're going to be seen as a stepping stone for players. I really do. Or they seem to think that it's the biggest things playing at Liverpool. That's not it. It's about winning. It's about winning the trophies. Right, rant over.
You all right? You taking a deep breath there?
Oh, one more thing I've got to say. The only thing which has kept me from self-harming this week, the only thing that's kept me from self-harming has been the fact that the Bengals actually got a chance at the playoffs. You know things are desperate when the Cincinnati Bengals are my good team, but they're supporting a sports team.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say to that, but I agree.
Desperate measures.
Well, look, hey, you got Fulham coming to town. They are they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Some days they look great and they look like they're world beaters, and the next day they lay eggs. So it's not unfathomable that you guys can beat Fulham.
They're going to go ahead of us if they win.
Well,
we're on 20. They're on 20 points. We're on 22. Most teams look for 40 points before they're safe, Nick. Halfway through the season, we're only halfway to 40 points.
Well, come on. So when you say the game's on ESPN there, does that mean Macca and Ian Dark are calling a game?
We've got there's a British ESPN channel.
Right.
When they won the rights to show some, they're losing the rights next season, but they won the rights to show some Premier League games. But they're generally ridiculed and because they're owned by Disney and seen as very, very American, in comparison to someone like the BBC or like Sky Sports. And but yeah, it's on like satellite TV. But generally, it's going to be shown around the world as most games are, being at that time. And I just think the stage is set for another humiliation at Anfield. I hope to God I'm wrong. I mean, strike me down if I'm wrong. But Liverpool, the teams are ahead of us. West Ham, Swansea, Stoke, Norwich. I mean, we're on this so-called good run, but Norwich have come out of nowhere and got up to 8th position. I mean, what is going on with us? We seem to be drawing far too many games and not winning any. And this it just topped us off. I mean, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. I mean, we've got the Europa League draw coming up on Friday, but we shouldn't. Doomed. We are. I don't know if we're going to get. I mean, the only saving grace I think for Rodgers at the moment, if they're going to take FSG, going to take a stance of the minimum of Champions League football, and they're going to sack. They sacked Dalglish after he won a trophy. Okay, it was a new League Cup, but he won as a trophy, so to speak. Got us to the final of another cup. Is the Champions League. Then Rodgers. The only thing I think is saving Rodgers at the moment is the fact that Newcastle are on absolutely dire in comparison. And that's a team we should be sort of competing with at the level this season. Is someone like Newcastle. Their second season syndrome. I don't think Pardew's a very good manager. They've had a few problems with injuries as well. This Liverpool team were 12 going into Christmas. That is humiliating. I mean, what is the point of carrying on this podcast if we're not going to be able to compete?
Well, hey, you know what?
It's going to be red versus red, man. It's like red versus, no one, because we're so good. It's we just like we just don't. Who?
Take a deep breath.
Oh, I'm better.
All right. So you got Fulham at home, then you go to Stoke on Boxing Day. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's playing on Boxing Day, it looks like. United plays on Boxing Day. You guys play on Boxing Day. You just got done telling me they don't play on Boxing Day.
Yeah, I did tell you that. And another thing, the people are now proving me wrong. I can tell you now, for the past 5 years, they've not played on a Boxing Day. I think it might be because it's a Saturday. The 22nd is a Saturday this year, and that's probably why. Because midweek, nice on a Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, that is why. Yeah, they're playing at 7:45, so that'll be the game of the day, so to speak. That'll be on Sky Television. That'll be on that'll be the key game across the world. Another chance for us to be. Stoke. We haven't beaten Stoke at Stoke for years. We get absolutely slaughtered there.
Well, give us a
most-
prediction, because we won't be doing a show on Wednesday.
I'm going for, I think Fulham will beat 2-1, and I think we'll lose 1-0.
So 2-1, you lose to Fulham,
Yeah.
and 1-0, you'll beat Stoke.
So 1-0 Stoke will beat us.
Wow, you think they're going to lose both?
Yeah, I think it'll be a very unmerry Christmas.
Well, earlier we said 3-1 United against who was it? Swansea, and then Newcastle comes to town on Boxing Day. So I'll say United win 3-1 in that game as well.
I'm going 3-1 as well. I think 6 goals for, 2 goals against in the next 2 games. Lovely. Just looking at the other fixtures, looking at the other results of the weekend. Reading 2, Arsenal 5. Reading, yet again, concede so many goals. Tottenham 1, Swansea 0. Swansea was somewhat agitated. They lost this game. Late winner for Spurs. West Brom 0, West Ham 0. Newcastle 1, City 3. City back to winning ways, put the pressure on United. Norwich 2, Wigan 1. Norwich keep on winning. QPR 2, Fulham 1. QPR win a game. Hooray!
See, you can beat Fulham.
Yeah. Stoke 1, Everton 1. Meant to be the worst game of the season by far. It was absolutely horrible. It was meant to be just long ball. Oh, Everton have killed their chances of Champions League football by Fellaini getting a three-match ban. Do you know how much they rely on him?
He's pretty important.
They rely. Every game he scores, they win. He's so reliant. I think they've done themselves. I really do. I think they'll regret this when it comes to end of the season and the Premier League and the Champions League places. I think they'll regret it. I think they're going to regret it big time. So the game's coming up on Saturday. Wigan Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal got an appalling record at Wigan. I think maybe Wigan do them again. City Reading. Right, how many goals are City going to put past Reading on Saturday?
I'll say they put 5 past. We got about a minute left.
I'm going to go for 6. Newcastle QPR. Then it's Southampton Sunderland. Tottenham Stoke. That'll be horrible. West Brom Norwich. That'll be 2 form teams. That'll be interesting. West Ham Everton. Yeah, no Fellaini. I think the Hammers will do. I think the Hammers will win that game. Then on the Sunday, Swansea United. We've covered that. Then on again Chelsea Villa. Let's see if Villa can carry on their winning ways at the Bridge. Chelsea won 5-1 tonight in the League Cup. And then on Boxing Day, Everton Wigan, Fulham Southampton, United Newcastle, Norwich Chelsea, QPR West Brom, Reading Swansea, Sunderland City, Villa Spurs, and Stoke and Liverpool. So yeah, next week we're taking a week off from Red versus Red. It's Boxing Day over here in the UK. Nick, I'm afraid you got to work, man. That sucks for you.
That's all right. We get to watch a lot of football while I'm at work. Enjoy your Christmas, mate, and we'll talk.
Merry Christmas.
And go Bengals, right?
Go Bengals, definitely.
All right. That'll do it for episode 19 of Red vs. Red. Red vs. Red is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. For Mike Smith, I'm Nick Suberling. We'll see you next time.